everybody, it's Julie. Welcome back to A Beautiful Horizon, where we talk about homemaking, homeschooling, and intentional living. This is the fourth video in a series that I'm doing on our curriculum choices for 2020-2021. Today we're talking about unit studies. So we have done a video for 6th grade, 2nd grade, and kindergarten, which I will link in a playlist in the description box if you want to catch up. As I mentioned in basically every video, we school together, and so we learn together, and there are certain things that I'm teaching each child in a book and we're their own curriculum, but there are a lot of things that I pick out that one student happens to be learning about, and we share it with the class, so to speak. And so I go through those types of things. Basically in each video there's something from a different kid that the other kids are going to join in with. And this video is on unit studies, and so we're all doing this together. We're all learning together. We might watch videos, we might read books, all sorts of things. So I thought I would show you how I do unit studies, and I'm not saying this is how everyone should do them. This is just how I happen to do them, and it's been working for us. For kindergarten through 5th grade for my oldest, and all the younger ones have been along for the ride as they were capable. And so we've kind of stuck with it. Now, I don't know that this is what I'll do once my oldest hits high school. I'm sure we will diversify and specialize, and he'll do a lot more reading on and writing on his own. So we'll see what happens when that time comes. I'm not committed to using this curriculum for the rest of forever. It just has happened to work every year, and I've never felt like I found something that I wanted to use more. There are other unit study options out there, so I'm sure they all have their pros and cons, and I have just adapted this curriculum to work for our family. If there was ever something that I disagreed with in it or chose not to address at the moment, I would skip over it, do something different. Just pick what you want and leave the rest. And that's kind of something that the author would say in this book. I'm not super familiar with everything the author has ever produced, but this curriculum has worked for us over the years. Okay, so like I said, this curriculum is a 4-part series, has 4 volumes. So the first book is called In the Beginning, God, From Creation to the Renaissance, Science of the Creation Week. Yes, it is from a creation standpoint. And the Foundations of Western Civilization into the Renaissance. So it's a 1-year science and history unit study curriculum, primary through high school students, designed for in-home education. So in this volume, we have an introduction, then we're learning roots and relations, light and matter, early civilizations, Greece and Rome, oceanography, weather, Middle Ages, bread of life, and astronomy. So it kind of goes back and forth between history and science. In the beginning, it talks about how to use it. It says you also will need phonics, spelling, grammar, and math separate from this unit study curriculum. So I have those for each kid. Then it talks about main points to study, vocabulary, resources, supplies, references. How do I begin? So it kind of explains how to use it. And then for each unit, it'll have some suggestions for main points to study for primary, elementary, intermediate, and advanced students. It'll have some resources, so books for each of those grade chunks. Sometimes it has movies to watch, sometimes it has coloring books, sometimes it has cookbooks, especially as you're going through learning about different countries. It'll have different cookbooks ideas to get, and then it'll have a basic outline of what that unit will look like. So days 1 through 10 or 1 through 20, depending on the length of the unit, and different things that you're going to be going over or things you're going to be doing for each of those grade chunks. Then for each day in the unit, you will have a scripture of the day. You'll have vocabulary on the side, which will have primary vocabulary, elementary, which will be all the above, plus intermediate vocabulary, and then advanced. And so you want to make sure they're familiar with those terms for their grade level. And then it'll have a scripture of the day, an introduction, materials you'll need, and then activities. And it'll either say for all levels, or maybe it'll say for primary or advanced, or elementary or intermediate. Sometimes they have coloring pages with the unit. Sometimes they'll have things to print out and fill out, or cut and paste, or maybe label different things. Like when you're doing something about a flower, it'll have, okay, label all the different parts of the flower. And then in the back of each unit, it'll have a vocabulary glossary. So that is volume 1, From Creation to the Renaissance. Volume 2 talks about nations, cultures, technology, and wildlife of the Eastern Hemisphere. So it goes through the introduction that's got the Mediterranean, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, African safari, Southwest Asia, Central Asia, the Orient, and Oceania. And then volume 3 has nations, cultures, and wildlife of the Western Hemisphere, including the early foundations of the United States of America, because the author is from the USA. I am from the USA, so this works for me to be able to teach our kids about the founding of our country. Obviously, not everyone who homeschools and watches YouTube is from the USA, so this may or may not work for you if you're not from the USA. So this volume has natural North America, Central America, South America, explorers, New World missions, early settlers, young nation under God. Volume 4 is a study of God's blessing in American history and technology from 1800 to 2000. So it's talking about agriculture, our Constitution, veterinary science, Westward Ho, the Civil War, the Industrial Revolution, World at War, space adventures, and it also has a section about Christianity. So obviously this is from a Christian perspective, and it's also from an American perspective. Now, the thing I like about this unit study idea here is that they go through sections of history and different types of science back and forth each unit in volume 1. Volume 2 and 3 are history of cultures, Western Hemisphere, Eastern Hemisphere. And then number 4 is back to science, history, science, history, science, history. So whether you purchase this curriculum or not, I think that the idea there is what intrigues me the most, and I use it as a guide, but I think you could list out the different historical periods, different scientific concepts, and then the different geographical regions, and create your own unit study flow and use the resources that you want to use. I like to use some of their suggested books, some of their concepts, but I don't follow it to a T. I don't read every single thing that they say and follow it their way. I use it for ideas, and then I do my own research and present things to my children the way that I want to present them to them. What I like about it is that it's laid out in a way where I know that every 4 years we're going through all these different cultures, these different science topics, and these historical periods. So the fact that it's already laid out is, I think, why I just keep using it. But I do like to kind of go rogue a little bit sometimes, find other books that we like, or find YouTube videos about science concepts, and kind of give them a well-rounded viewpoint, or at least that's the goal. So there are also unit studies that are put out by The Good and the Beautiful, and also Gather Around Homeschool. And I'm sure there are other curriculum choices out there for unit studies. If you have ones that you like, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about other ones. I think Our Father's World, is that one of them? I'm not sure if that's the exact same type of idea, but I think these are very interesting, and it helps to bring all the kids together. It cuts out the need for me to be doing different subjects with each of the kids, different grade levels, different topics. We can all come together, learn together, go on field trips together when we're able to do that sort of thing out there in the world, and learn. You know, we can learn without the pressure of each kid having to get all these different things done, and me having to keep track of each of their different history and science and culture and geography. We're doing it all together. So as they're learning about these different concepts, they're learning about geography, cultures, all the things. So that's how we do it. I think I said everything I meant to say. I guess I just want to say that there's no perfect curriculum. So whatever you use, you're going to have to tailor it to your child. You're going to have to make it work for for your family, and sometimes it doesn't work and you have to move on. So I'm not saying that I have the perfect, solution to all your problems, but this is working for me right now, and we'll see next year what it is that I change, because I'm probably going to change something next year. I mean, every year we change some things, we keep some things, and we learn a lot and we have fun. So thanks for watching. I will leave the playlist linked below. It'll have all those other videos, as well as a room tour of our homeschool room, which is our living area, and some of my favorite homeschooling tools and whatever else I might come up with. Oh, maybe a homeschool haul if I can get that going for our different projects we're going to be doing with our kindergarten book that we'll all enjoy together. So thank you for watching, and subscribe if you haven't yet, like the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.